Time now for Knickerbocker Banter as we joined by the Dean of Knicks Film School, Jonathan Macri. Jonathan, always good to see you, brother.
Good to see you, too.
All right, after starting the year 23-9, the Knicks have dropped 5 of 6. What's your level of concern moving forward here?
Yeah, I think your level of concern has to depend on what your expectations were coming into the year. If you're someone out there who thought Mike Brown was going to come in and wave his magic wand and do away with all the problems that ailed this team last season, then you're probably at about like a 9 out of 10. For me, I'm probably at about a 3 or a 4. I acknowledged going into the year that the structural issues, Cat and Brunson together on the defensive end, and honestly, those two finding synergy on the offensive end too, those problems still exist, and they're things that I think they still need to work through. Look, it's an 82-game season. It's a process. They're at a down period right now. I would expect it to get better, but they are not just going to waltz through this Eastern Conference like I think some people may have expected before the season started.
All right, Jonathan, win the NBA Cup, certainly an accomplishment to a level that's up for everybody at home to debate, but came at a cost. The Knicks haven't had consecutive days off since December 14th and 15th, the days leading up to the NBA Cup final. That was nearly a month ago. How is fatigue obviously factored into the way that this team has played as of late?
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a month ago, if you looked at the standings or you looked at the advanced stats at that time, the Knicks were the second best offense in the league, and they were actually a borderline top 10 defense, if you could believe it. Since then, they're barely a top 10 offense, and they have the second worst defense in the NBA by defensive rating. And if you just watch the games, you're seeing a team that's getting off the slow starts. They're taking longer to bring the ball up. The offensive movement, both ball movement, player movement, not as crisp. So I think, yes, fatigue is certainly a factor. Is it the thing that I think you could blame all of the team's recent issues on? I don't know if I'd go that far, but it's certainly playing a role.
All right, a little bit of good news, despite all the bad. Josh Hart upgraded to questionable for Sunday's game in Portland. He's missed the last 8 games, ankle injury. How much of a boost would his return be?
A massive boost. And I just have a question for all those people who wanted to run Josh Hart out of town last year.
Yeah.
Where are the apology forms at? That's the age we live in, right? Apology form age. Well, I think you better start getting the pen handy, because this is a team that with Josh Hart in the starting lineup, 11-3, and yet they're barely over 500 when he either comes off the bench or he's out. He provides all of the things that I think you're missing right now, that extra hustle, that extra toughness. People saying the Knicks are getting punked in some of these games. A team with Josh Hart on this roster does not get punked. They cannot wait for him to get back. Hopefully, we see him in uniform, ready to go against the Portland Trail Blazers on Sunday.
Jonathan, real quick, your biggest level of concern, we asked before, is it more roster or is it more schematics?
I think it's roster. Look, we were talking about it before. Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson, 2 substandard defenders. If you want to compete for an NBA championship, you have to be able to get key stops when you need them to. Can you do that with your 2 most important offensive players on the floor? It's a question we asked the night they traded for Karl-Anthony Towns a year and a half ago. It's a question we're still asking ourselves today.